Hey everyone, Keenan Gray here from DyeStat.com, bringing you another edition of DyeStat Discussions. Cross country season right in full swing. And of course, coming in at number 2 on our individual cross country rankings is this young man right here from Hurricane High School, Ty Steorts. He joins us here on DyeStat Discussions. Ty, pleasure to have you on. I know this week is going to be your season opener. Are we looking forward to it? And what else are we looking forward to this rest of the year?
Yeah, for sure. Looking forward to this weekend. Good little meet here in West Virginia. This season, I think it's going to be something special for sure. This is probably the most fit I've ever been coming into a season, especially like for cross. And we're going to have some good big meets that we're going to race at this year too. So there's a lot to come.
Tell us a little bit about the summer. It seems like you've amped up the mileage, and like you said, you're fitter now.
Yeah, definitely. This was a summer for me to try and just stay as consistent as possible. Like we ramped up, just like you said. I think peak week this week was around 60. Not nothing crazy, but nothing minimal too. We're right in that sweet spot for me, I think. So it's gonna shape out pretty well.
Has the body adjusted from that big jump? Because what were you running about last year?
Last cross season, I was sitting around like that 40 range, and then
Hmm.
towards the end, like 3 weeks leading into that big Foot Locker race, I think I was sitting around like 30. So jumping up to 60 in the summer, we took slow steps for sure, getting up there, only increasing by about like maybe 5 miles a week max. So we stayed healthy doing it, tried to keep it like make sure I'm not injury prone or anything like that, and you know, shaped out well.
Was it kind of a shock to the system when I mean, even though you did it little by little, but it took a while for the body to get used to it?
Um, Not really, honestly. I feel like for the most part, it came pretty natural.
Hmm. That's good to hear. I mean, it depends on all sorts of athletes whether they adjust to it quickly or not. It sounds like you're adjusting to just fine. Last year, obviously, of course, was a huge year for you. Just pretty much, it started off with the first loss of the year, but then it just kind of went uphill from there. Take us through your eyes and what you saw really from what you accomplished last year.
Last year, cross season was great, honestly. Even with the loss at the beginning of the season, that wasn't a big deal. I'll lose to Brandon Marshall anytime. He's a great runner, great guy. And then going on through a season, I had a few big races there, like for example, Cary, North Carolina, that Adidas Challenge, racing a few guys down there. Ended up getting that 14:38 time and winning that race. That was a big moment for me. I really enjoyed that, and honestly, was surprised it happened. It really just showed like that training came through. And then going on, like, won Louisville Classic, and then had states, won states, and then we went on to Foot Locker there, qualified at regionals, and had honestly a phenomenal race at Foot Locker. I'd say. I tried to go for a win and shaped out a little wrong, but still held sixth place, and I can't be upset with how I did that.
Yeah, and it was one of the best fields assembled in a while at Foot Locker. I mean, you look Drew Griffith, Ryan Pajak, Tamaret, Cabanas. I mean, the list goes on with the amount of guys. But do you feel obviously running in the state of West Virginia? What I'm assuming it's pretty hilly. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, for sure.
So how much did that really prepare you for a race like San Diego, where that course has some of its demons with those hills?
I think it really prepared me pretty well. Like, I'll go out here and like I can't do a 5 mile run without getting at least 200 or 300 feet elevation here. Honestly, like everything I run around here, like it's gonna have a hill, and even like my state meet course, like it's pretty big hills on that too. It's a slower course, so going out to Foot Locker, I knew it'd be hard. It definitely was a challenge, but I think I was pretty prepared for what to come, and especially like this coming season with like hilly races, I think I'll be pretty good on them.
So with that being said, when it comes to training, do you guys do a lot of hill type workouts, even though they're already part of your regular runs?
Yeah. So just like this past week, we did a few workouts. Like we did like 2 minutes on, 1 minute off for 8 sets, for example, and then like right after we did like 6 hill sprints on this like little steep hill. So we do incorporate some extra hills here and there just to do it. Honestly, it's always beneficial.
Absolutely, it truly is. Foot Locker, like you said, was a huge race for you, not only yourself, but I mean the South had themselves a really good meet. Just talking about the whole weekend being down in San Diego, not just obviously racing, but like being a part of the culture of Foot Locker and knowing that like Foot Locker's been around forever. I mean, yes, it's had many names, but it's one of the more historic cross country races in the United States.
Yeah, Hoka definitely put on a great event for sure down there. Um, I mean, I had a great time doing it, hanging out with like the South region too. Like those guys were all good, solid guys. I mean, and then especially like racing, like picking up the win that weekend too. I mean, that was extraordinary. Like coming in, we knew we had a pretty strong field, and we knew we had a chance. We just had to put it together. I mean, we did it. I mean, it was an awesome experience for sure.
But we're talking about guys that were on that team, like Patrick Kuhn, who's at Stanford, Berkeley Nance, who's going to BYU, Braden Marshall, who's going to North Carolina State. I mean, that group in itself was very talented. Was it a shock that you guys won, or was that something you guys went and just like, yes, we're going to go do this thing?
I mean, we didn't come in thinking that we were going to win it for sure. I mean, we knew we had to put down the hammer and like really go for it. I mean, like that Northeast region, they're always really good. They were pretty stacked this year, especially with their guys. I mean, all those Notre Dame guys are really good runners. Um, I mean, like pieces just kind of pieced together how they were supposed to, I guess, and ended up having it happen. I mean, it was great.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, and I'm just looking at the results right now. I mean, Northeast had three guys cross the finish line before anybody else did. But then it went three more guys from the South. Then there was another Northeast guy, Paul Bergeron, just right behind you. So it's like, okay, like we're going to have a pretty close scoring. But then within that top 20, it was just orange and black coming right through for the South. Initially, obviously, when you guys finish it, like you don't know what the scores are, but when you see this contingent of orange and black, with that pretty good indication, it's like, yeah, I think we won this thing.
Yeah, I mean, I crossed the line. I mean, I give Braden beat me. Braden was in front of me. I give Braden a big hug, and I was excited with him. Then I look around and I just see all the guys coming in. I was like, "Holy crap! Like, we're in good spots right here. Like, there's a chance we really did win this." And then it ended up happening.
Of all the things that you've like been a part of in your high school career, was that like the coolest moment for you?
Yeah, that was definitely up there for sure. That was pretty sweet.
Anything else could top it? Why was it so special for you?
I mean, just being a junior, having that experience, going down to a big national race like that, just being able to compete with guys at that level, at being the junior in there, and being the younger guy. I mean, what else more could you really ask for? I mean, it was just a great experience.
All that positive momentum carried into the indoor and outdoor season. I mean, indoor you ran 14:14:70 for a 5K, 8:46 for a 3200 in outdoors. How much did you take away from the cross country season that really built upon a really strong track season for both indoor and outdoor?
During previous seasons, I haven't really touched on a lot of like speed work. I'm typically more like distance oriented of a guy. So, I mean, indoor season, we ran that really fast 2 mile time and that really fast 5K. So I think it kind of correlates a little bit and translates into the speed. And then touched on some speed workouts beginning of outdoor season, and that definitely helped pick it up, especially get my mile time down. I had a big jump in my mile time, which was surprising for me. I mean, training just really pieced together well how it was supposed to. I mean, thank goodness to my new coach Jonathan Fee, who's really been putting in the work there.
So is that something that he's really emphasized on just this last year, even though it's something you haven't really worked on the last couple of years?
I'd say a good like a little bit for sure. Like I haven't really like worked with a lot of speed stuff. So it was
Mhm.
like, let's try to incorporate a little bit more speed into like the training here, and let's see how it pieces out and how it works. And I mean, it did great.
So that built a new confidence, which led you to winning the 1600 at the West Virginia State meet, which, if I remember the last time we chatted, that was your breakout race that you felt for yourself? Maybe not necessarily people see that on paper. It's like, yeah, 407, that's really good, but I don't think a lot of people would have picked that. But you did. Why is that?
I mean, that was my race for the season, honestly. Like that, like I had Drew Zundel, who's also a West Virginia native. He's from University High School. They're a great program. They have great training, and he's like a miler. Like he's labeled as a miler. So I was like going into this race, being like more of a 5K guy. I was like, I want to win this. Like I want to do it, and I mean, I ended up having that crazy close on that last 200 meters of that race that, I mean, my coach helped me put together and ended up getting a win there. So, I mean, that was huge. I mean, there's a video of me. Like, I crossed the line, I hit the floor, and I'm like slamming the floor because I'm so excited.
How many times in your head before that race did you kind of like play that over and over, like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go right here at this moment or in this race.
Honestly, all season. At like all season, all outdoor leading up to that race, that was the only thing in my mind was winning that mile, really.
And like you said, like you already knew you were a 3,200, 5,000 guy. The 1,600 was just the icing on the cake, basically. That was the one you were missing.
Yeah, exactly.
And to finally get it, like how much of a relief was that off your shoulders for yourself?
That was a huge relief because my mile time coming into that race, I believe it's a 4:14. So I mean, I cut 7 seconds off in a kind of tactical race, um, which I mean was outstanding. I was really kind of dumbfounded that it happened.
You feel like then now that you've ran a 407, because I've seen your PR in the 800s at 157, would that be another race that's like, I want to go attack this one and see what I can do?
Yeah, for sure. I think this next outdoor season I'll be able to get that down. I think I could honestly be around like a 152 guy. I mean, with speed coming the way it has been, I think there's a lot more to come in that 800 event.
Is it a rarity to see someone complete the triple in the state of West Virginia?
Kinda. I mean, with me, like what I've seen with the West Virginia man or West Virginia events, I mean, I had Larry Josh Edwards come in before me, and he was a phenomenal runner. I mean, he triple crowned. He had 32:16.8. So I mean, that's something that I would like to relapse for sure. But since him, I mean, I haven't really. There's been no one who's triple crowned like that in distance events.
What's going on in the state of West Virginia? Because we're not only seeing yourself. I mean, we're seeing someone like Irene Riggs, who won NXN her senior season, obviously now at Stanford. But like I said, you've named off another couple guys. Braden Marshall, another example. What's been so competitive in the state of West Virginia?
I think West Virginia is honestly kind of on the up right now. I mean, there's a lot of guys here that really enjoy the sport and want to get better. Like there's for sure like and I mean training aspect of it all, there's some decent coaches around here too who can put athletes in a position to be great. I mean, just like Iron Riggs, like coming from Morgantown. I think the Morgan like our Morgantown high school coach is pretty great. University coach who had Larry Josh and Drew Zundel, he's a great coach too. And even like over here at Hurricane, like our coach we have here is a great guy. Cabell Midland too. They have a few good runners. They had a guy who ran like 151 last year and like a 5400. I mean, he's over there at Davis and Elkins now. Could honestly have been even like a Power Five athlete. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of potential here in West Virginia, really.
A little bit about your team. I know obviously you've accomplished what you've accomplished as an individual, but have they followed in your footsteps? Have you taken on that leadership role, kind of guiding them a little bit?
Recently, I've been trying to. I took a bigger step last year, trying to be that leader, trying to show kids on my team like things to do and some of the little things and some of the stuff that I do that might change their perspective on some stuff. I think this year for sure I'm going to take an even bigger jump. I want to have because there's a few younger guys on my team who have a lot of potential, and I really want to see them excel at this sport, and I want to try and help them do that.
Is this a group that could potentially trophy at the West Virginia State meet?
I think they honestly could. The guys that I'm talking about are around that sophomore year, and there's a few of them that are juniors. So I think next year or even the year after, like there's a good chance that these guys could get really good.
Mhm. What's the outlook kind of for you guys this year? I know last or just a couple days ago, you guys had your first meet, and then I said you're going to be having your debut here coming up shortly. But what else can we expect you guys throughout the season?
From a team standpoint, we're in more of a rebuilding year with these younger guys. We don't have a lot of older guys. Like senior wise, it's just me and then Mason Lewis. And Mason's a phenomenal runner too. But besides that, it kind of drops down just a little bit. So I think we're definitely in that rebuilding process. And like after I graduate, we'll be stepping it up a good bit.
What does the schedule look like? Where can we expect you guys racing at this year?
Big races that are out of state, we'll go down to that Cary, North Carolina Adidas Challenge again. You'll see Hurricane there. You'll see Hurricane at the Louisville Classic in Kentucky. And then might see us at NXR if we can qualify for that.
Mhm.
But yeah, those are the big ones. Maybe Virginia Showcase. I think that's one that we've been kind of looking at. I think that's a 5K race. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, the
One of the big things you kind of joined this summer was the Nike Elite program, and obviously with that being said, you are now going to be having a chance to race at NXR Southeast. How excited were you for to be a part of that program and the opportunities that it will present yourself in your senior season?
I mean that was huge for me. I mean I talked with Ricky, who's like a Nike media guy, a good bit whenever I went to like Nike Indoor and things like that, and he seemed to really like me, and I really liked him and whatnot. And he kept bringing up the Nike Elite program, and I was like, I really want to get in this. Like, this is where the top guys are. There's a lot of really good talent in here, and especially like they were talking about too a lot. Like some of the guys who have been in this NSAF program have like been Olympians. I mean, they create some Olympians. So I mean, for me, like thinking about that and knowing that like I'm possibly at that level and there's a good chance for me to be there is huge. I mean, it's a awesome experience. It's amazing.
Tell us a little bit about the group. I know I got to chat with them a little bit. Maddie Putz, Owen Powell, Malachi Schoenher. I mean, the list goes on about just the depth and talent that's in with that group.
Yeah, I mean, they're all great, phenomenal dudes. Also, extremely motivated, extremely well-rounded athletes. Um, there's there's a lot that can come from this Nike Elite group for sure. There's going to be some national titles held by some Nike Elite guys this year.
Looking at the NXR Southeast, I mean, I'm looking at a guy like Riku Sugi, who's going to be among the mix, potentially racing at that NXR with yourself. What do you make of the Southeast region this year, and what could potentially happen? And obviously, get yourself to Nike Cross Nationals in Portland in December.
There's a good handful of guys down there who can compete and definitely qualify. Personally, I think I'll be a guy who can make it out of the region and go to NXN. Um, but I think there'll be a few more strong guys for sure that come out of this region.
Especially, like I said, Riku Sugi, who you ran with at Foot Locker. What's he like as an athlete, but also as a person too?
I've talked with Riku a good bit. I love Riku. Riku's a great guy. He's I like his coach too. I've talked with his coach. He's got a great coach. He's got a great mindset on the sport and academic side too. He does great. So I mean, he's definitely someone to look at for sure.
Now, I had said at the beginning of this program, you are ranked number two in our DyeStat individual cross country rankings. When you hear something like that, what does that tell you?
Um, for me, I mean, that just makes me want to be even better. I mean, I'm not number one yet. I want to be that number one guy. I want to work for that. So that just puts me or makes me want to just step on it even more and increase my training or keep the training like well and just throw down. I want to see what I can do this 5K season.
Is that something you would have pictured yourself, kind of being in that national conversation with among the best when you first started in high school?
Not necessarily. I mean, coming into high school, being a freshman, like I was a scorer on our Hurricane team, but there were some guys around me that like I used to think were like really good. Like one of my
Mhm.
buddies, Nick Kennedy, who runs at Ohio U now. I think his mile time was around like a 4:20 when I first came into high school, and I thought that was like stupid good. Like I was like, holy crap! Like I want to run that. So I mean, like I didn't really have like a picture of like how good I could be and how good I was at the time, honestly. So I mean, I really had no clue my potential at that age.
And this will be another year where we try to crown a new champion in Nike Cross Nationals because, of course, Danny Simmons, he's gone and graduated. JoJo Jordan, often graduated. What do you make of this group? I mean, the list goes on. And when I'm putting it together, I'm looking at like, dang, there's at least 10 or 15 guys that could win a national title this year.
Yeah, there's a lot of good talent still in this country. I think I think it could be a toss up, but I wouldn't count myself out of it.
And I wouldn't count yourself out of it. That's why that's why you're number two for a reason going into this year. Who are a couple of athletes though you're really looking forward to racing this year? Not including those some of those Nike Elite programs, even though they're part of that top 15. But I mean, there are some guys out there you may not necessarily see until postseason.
Yeah, there's a few that I'm kind of looking forward to. Joe Barrett, for example, he's a great guy. Can't wait to race him. Josiah Totson from Oregon. Can't wait to race that guy too. And even Tommy in the Nike Elite program. I mean, I want to race him too. And also Riku on the East Coast. I mean, those there's a few guys that I'm excited to race this year, just to see like what's going to happen.
I know you've been in the recruiting trail recently. I know back last year you had committed to Tennessee, but now you're back onto the recruiting scene since Coach Carlson left to go to Colorado. How has that been for you so far?
It's been an all right process. I mean, I've taken a few looks at some other schools. I got some official visits set up. We're gonna wait a little while to see like where I'm gonna want to commit. I'm gonna take it all in this time around and really think about like what I do for sure. But it's been a good process. All the coaches have been super nice about it all. I mean, I don't really think I can go wrong with just about any of these schools I'm looking at right now.
That's good to hear. Like I said, take your time. It's a process. There's a lot of things that go into it. So, times, accomplishments. What are the goals for this year?
Um, Perform at NXN, break state meet title. I mean, I think I'll be a triple or a three-peat at the Louisville Classic if I can get a win there. Those are the goals for this cross season. And I mean, I just want to go out there and compete. I just want to do the best I can. I think there's a lot that can happen out of me this year.
I want you to finish this statement. Ty Steorts will.
That's a tough one. Trying to get a cocky answer out of me, I feel. um, I mean, I guess we can just say Ty Steorts will be at NXN this year.
It's perfect. It's enough. You could have said Ty Steorts will have fun as well. Like that. That would
Oh
have been
yeah,
perfectly.
that'd have been a good
Yeah.
one.
This wasn't a bait by any means. I just wanted to see how you wanted to respond to that question. So Ty, I really appreciate your time, man. Wish you nothing but the best this year in the state of West Virginia. Hope to see you down the road, and hopefully we see you at NXN this next December.
Oh yeah, for sure. Can't wait for it all.